Hello trainers, Neto here, and today we're diving together into Open Ultra League with 4 teams in total that I think will help you a lot on your Go Battle League journey and towards your starting elo. So overall I think that the first team showcase out of the total 4 is gonna be kinda bulky for the meta, and of course you can rely on both your Giratina up in front and Registeel at the back to get those moves on their back so that your Swampert on the closing part can be absolutely insane against whatever remains. So this team will struggle against a fighter and most probably against a Scrafty, which also part dark, and perhaps Obstagoon as well. So the reason for this is because the dark typing will not be appreciated by your Giratina up in front, and of course you have a steel type at the back. But of course against Obstagoon, against Scrafty, you still have the Focus Blast, you still have the back-to-back Hydro Cannons from your Swampert, and even Giratina can pull off a fair fight with those Dragon Claws, even though it is gonna fall short to the outcome. But still totally a manageable option, even an Obstagoon, even a Scrafty for this team. So this team is extremely bulky, it can survive a lot of hits, while Swampert on the closing part can do a lot of solid work against any opponent. What I also like about this line is that it is full of nukes. So about Giratina, you can always use it with Dragon Breath over Shadow Claw, but I really recommend going with Shadow Claw over Dragon Breath only because of Shadow Force. You can get there fairly fast and you are not gonna regret it. If you do not have the legacy move on your Giratina, feel free to use either Shadow Sneak for the other ghost type Pokemon or just go with Ancient Power to thread the flyers, because Ancient Power will give you extra coverage against Charizard, and perhaps you're gonna need it since you have also a Pokemon like Registeel at the back, which is kinda afraid of those fires. Also this team is gonna stand victorious against a lot of meta relevant options, against Deoxys for example, against Cresselia, and against some certain threats, something like a Steelix that can definitely threat both your Giratina and Registeel with its moveset. However, you still have a lot of coverage even against that threat, especially with your Swampert as your closer. Speaking of Steelix, here it is on the next team showcase as we're using it as our leader. So this Pokemon now with Shadow and Breaking Swipe can absolutely be a headache to a lot of trainers out there, and of course can be a troublemaker not only to Giratina and the other dragons but also to Swampert, which also happens to be a core breaker for this team. So after the first Breaking Swipe, if you have a fully excelled powered up Steelix and non-Shadow, you're gonna see that you need more than 2 Hydro Cannons to faint, which can be kinda good for you. So overall Steelix is an absolute beast. If you have a Shadow, just go for it, you are not gonna regret it. Dragon Tail damage is absolutely absurd, and of course with Breaking Swipes you can debuff the opponent even more. So I do not recommend going with Psychic Fangs. Instead I think that Earthquake is gonna help your Steelix shine even more, not only on its Shadow form but also on the regular form, because you can get coverage against certain threats that you cannot with your Crunch or your Psychic Fangs. One of these threats might be something like a Tapu Fini, so definitely use Earthquake over anything else as your second charge attack. At the back we're gonna see that we're using Tentacruel and Virizion. Those two can add up as a solid backline and can pressure a lot with their moves. Just consider going with Blizzard over Sludge Wave for your Tentacruel, because you need that extra coverage for the Dragon type Pokemon or the Flyers, and with that in mind I think you're looking at a pretty solid team. As a closer, Virizion might carry the move Leaf Blade over here, but perhaps you want to have something like a Stone Edge, but for this particular team composition I recommend going for Leaf Blade over Stone Edge, because with Blizzard and your Steelix up in front you already have some flying coverage with this team, and since these two can even handle a threat something like Charizard, Virizion will most likely be the ultimate closer that you need to end any battle in Ultra League. Next up, we're meeting up with a team that is kinda similar to my famous Legend team here on Ultra League, but instead of Greedent, I decided to add Tapu Fini as my safe switch. So Greedent, let's start from there, has recently gotten an update on its fast attack. Now it can use Mud Shot and be more flexible on the spammy option, but I have to test it out. I haven't yet, and I think that Tapu Fini might be a better replacement for now, because with Greedent Jellicent, you might find yourself at a weird position that you might actually lose a lot of matchups now that you're using Mudshot over Bullet Seed, because with Bullet Seed you were able to finish off unsuspected opponents, something like a Swampert or a Walrein, while now with Mudshot you do not get that exact coverage, even though you are less flexible with Bullet Seed. Perhaps with Mudshot, I'm not sure, we're gonna see in a while when I'm gonna upload a video related to Griden. So with these three Pokemon right here that we have, we got Tapu Fini as our safe switch, Trevenant as our closer, and Charizard up in front. So I think that this team has a weird synergy that absolutely works, and of course with Charizard up in front you're afraid of a little bit of your counters, because only Rock can severely hurt you. Even against a Swampert, if you have a high rank Charizard like I do over here, a rank 1, you're gonna see that you can survive a single Hydro Can with this without being afraid of getting farmed down by the opposing side's Mudshots. So this can always work towards your advantage, and your Charizard will most likely emerge victorious even against a threat like Swampert. Trevenant, the closing part, will be super good for the meta, and most people will not expect it, while as a safe switch, Tapu Fini will be there for you to cover your weaknesses. As a core breaker, Jellicent will be kinda bad for you, because not only can have a very positive battle against Charizard, but it is also having a winnable matchup against your Tapu Fini, and even against Trevenant you still have to go ahead and throw the Shadow Ball to finish it off, because one Seed Bomb will never be enough for the Jelly. So if you do not see a lot of Jellicents, this team is just for you. I think you're gonna take full advantage of it and absolutely rise in Go Battle League. Time for the final one, trainers, and I think that this one will just leave you speechless, because this is a team creation that I used the previous season and it absolutely worked. We're gonna have Cobalion up in front with Clefable and Jellicent at the back. I'm not sure if I have seen this team on another channel. I think I was the first one to play this, I'm not sure though. Write down in the comment section if you have seen this team composition before, because I think that this synergy that exists in this particular team is absolutely insane. You get coverage against most things, and even against the Deox up in front you still have those two at the back, Clefable and Jellicent, which can also cover for that weakness, which is absolutely crazy. The only notable core breaker that I could find for this team is unfortunately Goldingo. Not a lot of trainers have it, but those that do have it might actually go pretty crazy against you, because not only this Pokemon can resist pretty much anything that your Cobalion can throw, but also against Clefable it can wall it down at the point that you are gonna be in a tough position. So definitely a notable core breaker for this team, even with its ghost typing dealing a lot of damage to our own ghost type Pokemon that we have as a safe switch on the face of Jellicent. So overall this team is gonna rely a lot on the spammy charge attacks that they have, and of course for Clefable you need the move update that we had last season with Fairy Wind over Charm, because Fairy Wind will get you there to the Moonblast and the Meteor Mash fairly fast, which is absolutely insane. Fairy Wind fairly fast, yeah, that was a bad pun. And now we're gonna see that also Jellicent is gonna be on the team pretty clutch with Surfs in order to spam its way to victory, or with Shadow Ball to nuke down unsuspected opponents, and of course it can always rely on its bulk to be extremely useful. The good news about Jellicent is that if you do not have one, you can always rely on it with not the full excelled power up version, because as you can see here I have 100% IV one, so I did not have the quantity of excels to power it up, but yeah, it still provides a lot of solid effort into the teamwork that this team needs in order to survive and compete effectively in Ultra League. So yeah, trainers, that is gonna be all for today. Thank you for watching and for staying till the end. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more of my content here on YouTube. With that said, I hope that you enjoy your time here on the Organeto journey on YouTube with these two videos that I have prepared for you, and since you are checking them out, well, I'm just gonna see you all into the next one.